11th is the Belmont Stakes, the third leg of the Triple Crown. It's known as the Test of Champions or the Run for the Carnations. We're now going to take you to the press conference leading up to the big event where we had the opportunity to hear what trainers and owners had to say about their horses.
Still leads. Here's NYRA on the outside, and Animal Kingdom is pouncing late on the John Velazquez. It's now Animal Kingdom on the outside who goes to lead for John Velazquez, and he's going clear by 2 lengths and running to the line. Animal Kingdom wins the Derby. NYRA in second. In third came Mucho Macho Man. In fourth was Shackelford.
Animal Kingdom is the first horse to ever win the Kentucky Derby that had never raced on dirt before. And obviously there's been a lot of talk about the synthetic surfaces and different horses. Do you think that maybe Animal Kingdom is the beginning of a trend, or do you think he's just an aberrational horse that can handle all surfaces well?
I think he's just a total freak. That's it. Yeah. You know, we haven't seen one before this. I'm sure we'll see one at some point, but I mean, he's like a gift from heaven, and I'm just happy to be associated with him.
If you had horses in the future, I mean, he had a turf pedigree per se, so you ran him in this. Would you prepare a dirt horse in a similar way, or do you pretty much tailor it to the horse that you have?
Yeah, we did. You know, we knew this horse could run. He had trained on dirt as an early 2-year-old, and the guy that broke him gave me some confidence. But until you actually see them do it, you really don't know. And the day that he breezed, when Robbie Alvarado was on him a week before, it was an eye-popping thing. So after that, we felt really good.
Yeah, I can remember a number of people telling me how well he breezed that day, and I said, he's a turf horse. He'll have no chance in this Derby. And of course, he proved myself and a lot of people wrong.
A lot of clockers walked out of the track on Derby Day with a lot of money.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely true, and I've heard many of those stories. Now, it's a much different race, and I guess this is a better question for John. It's maybe a different race going 1.5 miles because it's potentially, I mean, look, your main rival may well be Shackelford in this race. Obviously, Mucho Macho Man and NYRA are other horses to consider, but if there's not a lot of pace, it could play towards Shackelford's strengths. Are you concerned at all that because of the distance and maybe a slower pace, you might have to lay closer and that could mitigate his closing kick a little?
No, I don't think so. I think that as easy as he's going the first part of the race, it's going to be much better for him. What happened in the Preakness is that he was way too far back, and then it was a lot to catch up. But even if he's going at a slower pace, he's in the mix with the horses, it'll be easier for him. He's just kind of a grinder. He keeps coming, so I think it'll be much better for him.
And your experience riding at Belmont, and of course you won the Belmont Stakes with Rags to Riches just 4 years ago, I have to think that gives you a confidence. And not that, of course, some of your opponents will have had more experience, but perhaps Shackelford may not have that advantage that you have, and maybe are you hoping that's an advantage for you?
Definitely. I mean, I've been here in New York for 21 years now, so I know the racetrack very well. You know, what is important in here is that the horse respond for the things that you want to do, and he's done everything right so far. I think if he goes back to the race that he ran in the Derby and Preakness, I think he ran an unbelievable race in the Preakness, although we didn't get to win the race. He'll be really tough. I mean, I think he's an exceptional horse, and he's done everything very well. I think he'll be very tough, definitely.
I think it would be fair to argue that he ran really as well in both of the races in very sort of similar efforts. It's just Shackelford stepped forward in the Preakness with his best effort. It's not as though Animal Kingdom didn't run well. Are you at all worried, Barry, about the way the race shapes up?
No. I think our horse has got a high cruising speed. He had a really neat work here this week. I'm not worried about Shackelford, by the way. I'm worried about Mucho Macho Man. I think he's the horse to beat. I've got an idea what I want to do with this horse after this, and it's, you know, I think we could win the Breeders' Cup Classic. That would be a good race to shoot for, and I have a different way to get there that does not include the Haskell or the Travers.